Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your BFF Snowy Aria663 here, right now, and I'm here with my brother Kyle, aka Moody Blues 27, and we are now talking about the mad Disney movies. Disney movies that we had to think really hard whether or not we enjoyed them or not. These movies are fine. They're passable. You don't get violently angry.
Oh, it's the anime lady. The best one.
Anime forest waifu. We are kicking off this list with Fantasia 2000. I watched this one a lot as a kid. It's only half the length of the first one.
Thank goodness.
I think that's pretty much the only reason it's this high. Because if it was that long, that we put it with the other.
Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you the big negative of this movie.
Go ahead.
So they do Sorcerer's Apprentice again. Okay, that's perfectly fine. They don't reanimate it. They don't change any scenes. They add same music. It's literally the same Sorcerer's Apprentice from the first Fantasia.
Yeah.
That is such a middle finger f you to us.
You could have done it in 3D animation. You were
could
trying
have
to experience
updated the animation, changed the music, have them do
re-record
different
the
things.
music.
Like make a Sorcerer Apprentice 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Re-record the music with better audio equipment.
Yeah. That's my worst. That's the worst thing about this movie.
The only other thing I could say is that they have a bunch of celebrities for no reason.
Yeah.
Like Bette Midler's in it for no reason.
They kind of just show up.
Yeah, the only one that's fine is James Earl Jones. He's good.
It's James Corden.
No.
What would happen if you gave a yo-yo to a flock of flamingos? Who wrote this?
It's very pretty. I do like the animation, except for the Nutcracker. Well, no, it was the Tin Soldier.
Yeah.
The Tin Soldier, the animation was terrible.
Yeah.
It
I love the Flamingo one's my favorite.
It was pointless, but it was cute, and it was short. I did like the Nature Girl one.
They even did anime. It's the first time we could see anime.
There was an anime waifu girl. That one was very pretty.
That was probably the best looking one.
Yeah, and
just because anime is always
and they did
amazing.
Like some CG stuff, and the music was really good.
Then,
I liked the space whales. That was pretty. Why is Donald Duck on the Ark? By the way,
I was about to talk. I was about to say my least favorite of the shorts, besides Sorcerer's Apprentice, is Donald's Ark. Because you're not telling me there's no way Donald and Daisy didn't see each other once on that giant ark.
How long was Moses on the Ark for? I don't know.
I think it's like 2 years. I think.
How did they not see each other for that long?
I think it's that long, but then again, I have no idea.
I don't know either. The space whales was wholesome.
The space whales was nice.
That's it. That's really all.
I even like the Tin Soldier one better than the Ark one, just because at least it makes sense.
Yeah, and I could say that the girl did look good. Everyone else looked terrible.
Yeah, there was at least something good with that one.
The villain was very pervy. My favorite character is the Nature Girl, the anime Nature Girl.
As well.
My favorite song, it's kind of difficult because all these songs are previous things.
Mine was the one with the flamingo.
I just put Sorcerer's Apprentice just because I like that music, even though the scene was f*** you.
Yeah.
And my favorite scene was the flamingo because it was funny.
That's my favorite scene as well.
And it was short. It was like a minute long.
It was super close from the Nature Girl to the flamingo.
Yeah.
I think the Nature Girl one went on just slightly too long, but at least it looked amazing while going on too long.
Yeah.
Are you telling me we're gonna go through 3 animals like the freaking wild Kratts? And then freaking somehow he's gonna end up in London and pull a sword out?
Sword in the Stone.
It's a movie.
It exists. Good job.
As most of these movies, this is about probably the reaction you're gonna get through all of these besides like 3.
Yeah. They exist. You have made a movie.
Like, this movie, we were actually kind of terrified to go in to.
It looked very bland, and the animation was
The animation's not that good.
No. It's better than 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
But slightly.
It's better. This movie is just a retelling of King Arthur. So if you know King Arthur, I mean, it's basically this. For whatever reason, Merlin has to teach this kid lessons by turning him into animals.
He starts turning him into a fish, and then a squirrel, and then a bird.
Like, the fish and squirrel one were perfectly fine.
No, the fish and bird one were fine. The squirrel one.
No, the squirrel one was the one that was... Okay, so basically, there's this female squirrel that tries to...
seduce this child.
This 9-year-old Arthur. who has been turned to a squirrel. And then Merlin's like, yeah, it's fine. It's just her wanting to mate. But the second he gets a squirrel that wants to mate with her, it's like, oh, yeah, we gotta get out of here, Arthur.
But it goes on for like 5 minutes of just this squirrel trying to seduce this child, and it's really weird. I don't like it.
Terrifying.
The kid who played Arthur clearly went through puberty when these lines were being recorded, because half of his lines sound like a child and the other half sounds like an adult.
There, now you see? I'm not a squirrel. I'm a boy.
He was a monster. The biggest fish I ever saw.
And, like, sometimes it's back-to-back lines.
Yeah.
And it's the same actor.
Oh, Sir Actor.
Whoa, what?
I guess the best way to describe this film is that there's a small child who needs to be taught lessons, and a very high, out-of-his-mind wizard teaches him.
Yeah.
The kid's adopted, I think. His older brother's a dick. The father of the dick exists. He doesn't actually pull his sword out of the stone until, like, the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not even really important to the story. The best part of the story, we can both agree, is right at the end. The climax of the film is when Arthur ends up meeting the sorceress witch named Mad Madam Mim. She is just so full of energy.
She is the best part of the movie.
She's honestly great. Like, fantastic villain.
She was very much needed because at that point we were starting to run low on energy because it takes a lot to watch this movie.
Yeah, it just slowly starts to go downhill and then it just peaks right at the end.
Once Myth comes up, oh my god.
There's this really creative fight between Mim and Merlin where they turn into different animals to try to fight each other. And it's so creative. Like, she turns into a dragon and stuff. Not as cool as Sleeping Beauty, but still. And they fight each other, and Merlin wins by turning into a disease. Like, that's actually pretty well done.
That's great.
Yeah, and then it just tanks because he picks the sword out of the stone, and then the movie's over. No, not yet. There's, like, one scene at the end where King Arthur is in his castle, and he's like, I'm really scared. I don't know what to do. Merlin's not here. I don't want to be king. And then, go ahead, Kyle.
Okay. So, you know how we were talking about Bayou earlier. Merlin was out in the Hawaiians or wherever he was. And Arthur's like, oh, I wish Merlin was here. So Merlin flies through the window wearing a Hawaiian outfit saying, did someone call for me? And whenever that scene happened, I was like, did he just come from Bayou? And we lost our shit.
Hey, he's back.
He's back.
He's from Bahia.
He came from Bahia. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
That's only funny because of the
It's only
inside
funny
joke.
because of our joke, yes.
Yeah, but he literally just shows up. It's like, I heard someone called for me. You can do it, Arthur. And then the movie's over.
It's a very abrupt ending. Like, it just
You could have
ends.
ended it with him pulling the sword out. Like,
Yeah.
You didn't need to. I don't know.
You could have started with him pulling the sword out and then him learning the lessons while he's king.
Yeah, that would have probably been better.
It exists. It's fine. There's
I did like the wolf,
negatives.
though. There's like this wolf that follows Arthur around and he tries to eat him the whole time. And then the movie just forgets about him in the last half.
Yeah.
But it's still funny. Yeah, my favorite character was Mim, obviously.
That was mine as well.
My favorite song was Higatus Figatus from the
That
beginning.
was mine as well.
It's very creative. And my favorite scene was the fight scene.
And mine was Bayou.
Wait, that's a boy. Thought women do the sewing.
What the hell?
Cinderella is the
A
worst
movie
princess.
that exists.
It exists. It does. It has great stuff and it has bad stuff.
Mainly the mice, so it's just like Rescuers.
The mice take up way too much time doing meaningless slapstick.
Now be careful.
If you took the mice out of the film, then you'd be left with like a 30-minute short film.
That every single major...
Or hear me out. Keep the mice in. Change the voice actors.
They sound so
They sound
annoying.
so bad.
Yeah. The animation in this film is really pretty.
Yeah.
It's done well. The villains are fantastic.
Yeah.
Personally, Lady Tremaine is probably one of my favorite villains. Her and Claude Frollo are the best villains, in my opinion. The voice actress is the same person who did Maleficent, and the evil stepsisters are also very funny. Just Lady Tremaine is just so scary. She scared me as a kid. She has a cat named Lucifer. Are you kidding me?
And the cat tries to eat the mice, and I was so sad whenever the cat didn't.
When the cat didn't kill them.
That is me.
I mean, the cat dies at the end. He gets
cat
launched
does
out the window. There's a dog named Bruno. Like, it's great. I know we don't talk about Bruno. We don't do that. You know, the fairy godmother's sweet. She looks nice. It's cool. She loses her slipper. She does do that. But just, I know that's what everyone remembers about the fairy godmother and the slipper, but that only happens about 50 minutes in.
Most of these movies, there's not a lot to talk about.
Yeah, it's just, there's just so much mice stuff mixed in with the story that literally every single person watching this knows.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who doesn't know the story of Cinderella. The prince has like 3 lines, and one of them is, yes.
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 The mice are bad. Everyone knows that.
Why is Gus short for Octavius? It's slightly better than Sword in the Stone in my opinion because it looks better and it has songs.
I might have Sword and Stone higher just because it's funnier.
There's not much humor in this movie, but I think that the serious stuff is done pretty well, like the abuse that Cinderella goes through. Like, that's actually done pretty well. Please don't do that when I'm talking about abuse. My favorite character was Lady Tremaine.
I have no idea who the hell I put on mine.
What does that even say?
God.
Godmother.
Oh, Godmother.
My favorite character was
My
God.
favorite character was God.
My favorite song was Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo.
That's the best song in the movie by
Yeah,
far.
and my favorite scene was the stepsisters tearing Cinderella's dress.
Mine was Bruno save.
Bruno saves her from the tower.
I don't know. I gave
That
it
when
5
the dog
stars.
launched the cat out of the window.
Oh yeah, that was my favorite scene. Yeah. Is it actually just him walking around saying Happy Wednesday? If it is, I'm losing my
Kyle, it is Wednesday, my dear.
Wait, today's Wednesday.
I know.
Wait a damn second.
Hey.
Hey. I hate you too. Bye.
Okay.
Hey. I literally only make those videos for you.
The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
This is also just like the other Winnie the Pooh, just actually
It's
a lot
better.
more funnier, actually made for semi-kids.
Adults can watch this without wanting to tear their hair out.
Yeah, it's...
Although it does go on too long. And Rabbit's an asshole.
Rabbit's an asshole in this one. It's still Winnie the Pooh, though.
It's wholesome, and it actually made us laugh many times. Like, Pooh has such a deadpan way of talking. Like, he covers himself in, like, mud to look like a rain cloud so he can get honey, because, obviously. And when Christopher Robin's like, "What are you doing, Pooh?" And he's like,
I'm a little black rain cloud, of course.
like, he's just so deadpan in the way he talks. Literally, there's one segment that's literally just about it being windy outside, and he just goes around everyone going, "Happy Wednesday." Like, frickin' Piglet is flying in the air and about ready to die, and he's like,
Happy Wednesday, Piglet.
Piglet's like, oh, happy Wednesday, Pooh. While he's sitting there flying and almost dead.
Happy Wednesday, Piglet.
then he goes to Owl's house, and Owl's house falls apart, and then it goes, "Happy Wednesday, Owl."
And the funny thing is, like, all the characters just accept it, and they're like, Happy Wednesday. Like, no matter what bad situation they're in, they're just like, hello, Pooh, Happy Wednesday.
Owl's house gets destroyed, and then Eeyore says, "I gotta find a new house for Owl," and he just finds Piglet's house, and he's like, "Yep, this is the one." And Piglet's like, oh, all right.
Then Kanga and Roo actually show up
Yeah,
and
they do
say
something.
things.
Then there's like a scene where Pooh gets a gun for some reason, and then he has a hallucinogenic dream about heffalumps and woozles, which is a trippy thing, and I love it. That honestly scared me as a kid, and I don't care, because nowadays it's like one of my favorite things. The one thing I will say about this film is that it's so creative with how it uses the book.
Yeah.
The book
Like,
is...
Pooh literally climbs the book.
climbs letters and stuff, and he talks with the narrator. I don't typically like movies that break the fourth wall, but this is one of the ones that does it right. It just slowly gets worse because it goes on too long. But the last scene is pretty well. It's pretty well done. It's Christopher Robin and Pooh talking about how eventually Christopher Robin will grow up and you'll forget about all this, but it's okay because we got to treasure the memories that we currently have.
Yeah.
Like, that's good. Yeah, it's cute, but it goes on too long and it's made for babies. All the stuff we praised was the only good things. Everything else is just, it's not bad. It's just there. It's better than watching Coco Melon. I would rather put
Coco Melon songs bop, okay? Tie your shoes, tie your shoes.
Even Zoe's telling you to
while
stop.
the dog is barking, while the dog
Zoe's telling you to stop singing
Zoe.
Coco Melon.
I'm sorry. I stopped. You can stop now.
My favorite character was Tigger.
Mine was Pooh.
Favorite song was the Tigger song. The most wonderful thing about Tigger is the
Mine
Tigger
was
wonderful
also
thing.
Tigger's song.
And my favorite scene was Heffalumps and Woozles.
My favorite scene is never Owl's house just gets destroyed.
Happy Wednesday, Owl.
I have enjoyed myself. This movie is great.
Still f***ing going. How much longer do we have left in this movie?
We have like 20 minutes left. Oh.
Bruh. So Home on the Range is a movie that I was warned about. It's often cited as one of the worst Disney films ever, and it is the film that single-handedly killed the 2D animation department, and the fact that Roseanne is the main cow didn't help me. And then we watched it, and it has equal amounts part fantastic in terms of hilariousness and equal parts shit, so it had to go here because they just cancel each other out. The villains are fantastic. I love the villains. It's just this guy who yodels to kidnap cows, and that is so funny.
It's very creative.
It's very creative. He sings this song about, kidnapping the cows, and it's funny. And he's got these three henchmen called the Willy Brothers. And they all have the exact same voice, and they all look stupid.
Who are you? What do you do with Uncle Slim? Put up your dukes. Maybe she wasn't an art lover. Philistine! Hey, who are you?
And I love them. They are my, spirit animals. That's the best way I can say it. They are so funny. They just talk so weird. They all have the exact same voice. And the scene where he talks about his yodeling, you need to look that up for yourself. That whole scene is just comedy gold.
And the great thing about this movie is, it came out right after Brother Bear, and we needed this movie so much to be good, or at least decent after Brother Bear, because we were so drained after Brother Bear.
Yep.
And this movie revived us halfway about. It was good. There's a sad scene that didn't need to exist. Because the thing with this movie is, it's funny and it's not good at anything else. Whenever they do the sad, it doesn't work because we're going from such high energy to a sad scene that lasts way too long to high energy.
I don't really care what they're fighting for.
I don't either.
They're fighting to save their farm, and I don't care. There's a lot of fart and burp humor, and that's not funny.
It is funny.
There's actually a twist villain in this that no one talks about.
Because he instantly dies.
He instantly just gets killed. And there's a horse in this film that, I swear to God, it's voiced by, Chris Rock, if he was white.
Come on, girls, let's go get Slim.
Cud-chewing heifers.
Huh, I can catch that Slim with one hoof tied behind my back. Wait a minute. Why don't I?
It's just an okay movie. It made us laugh a couple of times.
It's hilarious, but everything else is bad, so therefore it cancels itself out.
Yeah. And I'm still going to go buy the disc version so I can own it.
My favorite character was the Willy brothers.
Mine was, I don't know what that says. Yeah. I was gonna say Elton John. It's gonna be my first Elton John reference. And my favorite song was Yodel.
My favorite song was You Ain't Home on the Range.
And then my scene is Everything.
My favorite scene was the train chase through the mine shaft, because that was funny. And that's how pugs came to America.
Because they want to f*** a raccoon.
Pocahontas exists.
I like how we've started with the same intro for all of these movies. I don't want to talk about this movie at all. I don't want to say a single word for it. You can
Okay, I'll do it. Although I did enjoy Home on the Range more, I will say this one is probably more well done because it has slightly better good parts. It's very pretty. I mean, the song Savages is very good. It's like talking about how both sides see each other as the villain, but you know, like
they're different from us, which means they can't be trusted.
Very subtle. Very subtle. The villain in this is probably my least favorite Disney villain, just because he's so
okay.
He's just racist and that's all.
Exactly, he's my favorite.
Pocahontas is a very good singer, although she has the personality of a sandpaper sandwich.
No, not even just sandpaper. Because at least a sandpaper sandwich would have like meat, lettuce, all the good stuff. She has the personality of already sanded sandpaper. Like not while it still has the grit on it.
Okay, if Pocahontas was a spice, she'd be flour.
Oh, she would be unsalted salt. Don't ask me how that's a thing.
She'd be off-brand Oreo cookies.
She would be salt for white people. Oh, it's too spicy.
She'd be not.
Which is on Pocahontas.
She's not bland.
The end.
John Smith is an asshole, and he changes because Pocahontas gave him a boner. So you know.
I like John Smith.
Thomas is sweet and wholesome, even though he murders somebody. I don't care. He's my potential son.
I love Wiggins.
Wiggins is funny. He delivers the only good line in the movie.
Why do you think those insolent heathens attacked us?
Because we invaded their land and cut down their trees and dug up their earth.
There's too much animal shenanigans.
I like the raccoon. I don't like the dog, but I think the raccoon's fine.
The animation of everyone's eyes is really weird.
For whatever reason, Pocahontas' nose is just
2 lines.
2 lines, yeah.
Kocoum can't act.
What is it? What's wrong? Is she all right?
I know, it seems like we're on this movie.
No, it's okay.
It's decent.
The musical numbers, every single one of them, except for that one line,
carry the
great.
movie.
They're great. Even the frickin' Mine, Mine, Mine is ironically enjoyable.
See how I glitter.
See how I glitter.
And then the animation during the songs, oh my god.
They're beautiful. You know, Colors of the Wind is, of course, you know, outstanding. Everyone loves Colors of the Wind.
It did win original song.
It won Best Original Song.
And I think it definitely deserved it.
Kind of a shitty idea to do, Disney. Because, you know, Pocahontas was 12 and John Smith was like 30-something, and they didn't even marry. She was taken to England and married to some guy named John Rolfe, and then she was and died.
Plus, why the f*** is her waist so thin?
She has like the thinnest waist of all the Disney princesses. Meh, we liked it. Nah.
It exists.
My favorite character is Thomas.
Thomas O'Malley?
No. Yours was?
Wiggin.
My favorite song was Colors of the Wind.
Mine.
And my favorite scene was Kocoum's death, because I thought that was really well done.
I don't even know what the hell I put. Savages?
I guess.
I think I put no savages.
Welcome to
Family Robinsons. Oh, whoa.
You really like Meet the Robinsons, I think it's fine. It's got good things and it's got bad things. And the good things are it's wholesome. I do like movies that talk about adoptive parents because I don't feel like every movie needs to have a kid with loving family members. You can make your own family. Bowler Hat Guy and Goob are some of the best villains ever made in the history of anything ever. Okay, so basically it's just a story about this kid who wants to get adopted and he goes to the future and like dicks around for a while and then he goes back in time and yeah, that's basically the plot. He meets this family, which turns out, spoiler alert, turns out this kid he's been hanging out with is his future son. Yay!
Okay, so basically, I was going into this with good memories of this movie. It's still a good movie. It's just, there's a lot more shenanigans than I remember. A lot more. And shenanigans are fine in moderation. This movie is balls to the wall shenanigans. And some of it's funny, some of it's not. She doesn't like the Chinese-Japanese reference. It's hilarious.
Anime reference.
Surely that is not the best you can do.
Impressive, little sister. Your skills are strong.
I don't like it. It's
hilarious.
not funny.
The biggest thing about this movie is the moral is phenomenal. No matter what, keep moving forward.
Shove it down your throat.
Yeah, literally. At the end of the movie, there's like a whole, there's a whole text from Walt Disney about the moral.
Keep moving forward.
About keep moving forward. It's a beautiful message. However, they want to grab you by the throat and shove it down your mouth till it gets to your stomach and rips it out of your stomach again and continues to go in and out. Anyways,
they have
and then
open a fortune cookie that says keep moving forward and then the robot gets really excited and has like a banner that shows up that says keep moving forward in the span of like a minute.
The moral's great.
Yes.
And I love the villain because he goes against the moral of not moving forward, of compelling all of that hatred into one thing and never moving forward from it and keep that there. That is why he's such a phenomenal villain.
And he's funny.
He's funny. He's
absolutely
the complete
hilarious.
opposite of the moral, and you see what could happen. Because at the end, the hat thing takes over the world because he never let go of his anger. And it's great. However, there's so much slapstick that just makes me want to be sad.
There's a couple funny jokes.
Why aren't you seizing the boy?
Spike and Dimitri are twins, and I don't know who they're related to.
Neither do we. Go on.
Hey, Goop, what's up? Cool binder. Hey, Goop, want to come over to my house today?
They all hated me.
Your dad, Cornelius, is their son. What does Cornelius look like?
Tom Selleck.
Okay, Cornelius is married to Fanny.
There's a million people over there, and I have little arms. I'm just not so sure how well this plan was thought through. Master?
Everything the bowler hat guy says is comedy gold.
Yes, we stand Bowler Hat Guy in this house.
We love him. He's the holy messiah.
So, my favorite character was Goob.
Mine was the T-Rex. Or the frog. Either one of those two.
Were there any songs? Because I didn't put any songs.
There was the frog song.
Well, I didn't like it, so I didn't put any songs that were my favorite.
My favorite scene is the T-Rex and the ending. I couldn't decide.
My favorite scene is the ending where he gets adopted.
That
wholesome.
brings a tear to my eye.
Who wants Sprite Crib? Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was the very first Disney film ever released. I know I did a video on it, and I still stand by that this film has probably one of my favorite aesthetics of all Disney, just because I'm really into like a German style setting. That's why I like Tangled so much. I love the dwarves. They're great. Snow White is very cheery and very happy, and I'm sure that worked, especially for the time this film was made, the 30s, Great Depression. You want a cheery princess who's all happy and stuff. The villain is pretty good. The rest of it's bad. Every time I think about this movie, I only remember the good stuff, but actually sitting through and watching it, I think about all the bad stuff, the 5-minute scene where they're washing their hands.
That scene goes on for a lot more than 5 minutes. It feels like
the
it.
10 minutes of them, like, trying to find Snow White upstairs. Although Dopey yelling was very funny.
There's a lot of dopey ass for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's a movie everyone either loves or is just okay with.
I don't think anyone really hates this movie.
Yeah, if you hate this movie, this is the one movie
Then you're
that's
kinda
this
mean.
low that if you hate, you were just wrong.
Yeah,
Because it's a good movie. It's just...
It's a classic, but it didn't hold up nowadays. I'm sure when it first came out, like... I mean, obviously it was phenomenal. It won its own special award at the Oscars with 7 little Oscars next to it.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was really cool, and it was a monumental achievement. The animation is relatively good on the dwarves. Snow White does not hold up.
So yeah, Snow White looks...
very bad.
The thing is, with early Disney, they're very good at animating, like, non-humans. But
Yeah.
the second they have to animate a human, it just goes down.
Yeah, they try to make it look too realistic,
Yeah, like
and the whole point of animation is to exaggerate stuff.
Yeah, like, the prince looks bad, Snow White looks bad.
The dwarves look great, because they're exaggerated. The witch ends up killing herself. I didn't remember that. The witch scared the hell out of me as a kid. I was so terrified. I went to the ride of this at Magic Kingdom, and my dad would have to literally, like, carry me on the ride because I was so scared of the witch. Although, if you've never seen the original Magic Kingdom ride, look it up, because I thought I was kind of a chicken, and then I watched it, and then I was not a chicken. I was not a goddamn chicken, Kyle. That thing is scary. That scared me now.
Going into this, we didn't like this film. The funny thing is,
no.
Whenever this movie ended, we put no as we did not like this film. Then we watched Fantasia.
That changed.
And we're like, Snow White is not that bad. So we put yes. I personally have Meet the Robinsons above this.
I respect it more than I like it.
Yeah.
So, my favorite character was Dopey.
Mine was Grumpy. I like Grumpy.
Favorite song was Hi-Ho.
That's the best song in the movie. So.
Yeah, my favorite scene was the silly song, because that was wholesome.
Mine was when Snow White dies. Because it's so over-exaggerated on this almost realistic character. And she just falls over and dies. And she's like, oh, heavens! And then the dwarfs come in and is like, oh, damn. Anyways.
They do cry, but apparently in 1937 that made almost the entire audience start crying at the opening premiere when she died.
Bruh.
So.
Snowflakes. Me on my way to get Sprite Cranberry.
Me on my way to buy the Gummy Bear album in stores on November 13th.
Me on my way to watch Encanto for the 3rd time.
Me on my way to beat up Abuela.
Me on my way to listen to Luisa's song for the 37th time.
Luisa's announcing she's looking for a husband.
And Luisa says her type is...
Gamers
and anime weebs.
Frollo on his way to kiss Esmeralda. Scene's over and we're still making memes on it. Roger after work on his way to Jessica.
Me on my way to get Bella Delphine bathwater.
Well, this works even better. Me on my way to murder Abuela. Get her. Teachers on their way to beat up the kid who's wearing a hat.
POV, you wear a hood in school. Me on the way to tell Liz that The Croods 2 is good for the 400th time. And she still won't watch it.
Kyle on his way to beat up the person who doesn't like Emperor's New Groove. Me going to find the person who wrote Let It Go.
He's on the way to beat up any gorillas hating.
Murdoch on his way to beat up 2D for the 10th time.
POV, you insult Emperor's New Groove in front of God.
Disney on its way to pick out the remains of the Lion King franchise.
The end.
This is where they get pounded, I think.
What?
They go to an animal pound.
Oh. I was like, excuse me.
So Bolt.
Does not feel like a Disney movie.
It really doesn't. It feels more of like a recent Pixar movie. Not even old Pixar movies. It feels like one of those movies where there's not really so much of a meaning. It's just kind of an adventure.
Yeah.
Which there is a meaning in Bolt, and it's pretty nice. It's about knowing where you belong and not to be a
A lot of these Disney movies just have the moral of don't be a
and it's like, it doesn't feel like it is. It's kind of like how Brave doesn't feel like a Pixar movie. I don't know.
There's a lot of suspension of disbelief you have to go through.
Yeah.
Like, you honestly expect me to believe that they filmed this show in a way that, like, they can't even have a boom mic in the area to make sure the dog believes the show is real so they get a genuine reaction out of him. Like, what?
It's kind of like Cars, where you think about it for more than 2 seconds, it just falls apart.
Yeah.
But if you don't think about it, Bolt is just an okay movie.
Yeah, I don't like the cat. The cat was
Yeah.
really annoying.
I mean, I like her near the end whenever she starts to see that Bolt actually has a genuine connection.
Yeah.
But then her beginning cat and middle cat, it was kind of... I don't even remember her name. It's like Periwinkle or something.
Mittens.
It
was even close. There's just a lot of shenanigans, but they kind of have a bit of a meaning. He's trying to learn how to be a regular dog. It's John Travolta plays the dog, which I think is a pretty bad choice. You could have had anyone else.
I think he's fine. I mean, I feel like his voice kind of matches, almost. Maybe while he was a super dog, it matches, but the second he starts being a normal dog, it doesn't. Rhino's the best hamster
Rhino
ever
was
to
annoying
be.
to
No, I love Rhino.
He got a bit annoying.
I love Rhino.
Although there was something that we noticed. So basically the climax of the movie, Rhino is the hamster, and he's in this hamster ball, and he's trying to, like, get Bolt into, like, the show building to reunite with his owner. And this guard comes up and he picks up the ball. And he's like, oh, look at that, a little hamster, that's so cute. And then they cut to Bolt. And they do like half the climax of the movie where they end up having like the studio get set on fire. So about like 30 minutes have passed in movie time. Like, in terms of the world's universe. And they cut back, and the guy is still holding Rhino. He's still there. I'm like, what are you doing? You just sitting there going, for like 30 minutes? Are you okay? But the ending is actually
so good.
very well done. When the place is burning, and then Bolt has to use his super bark to save her, which he just barks into a vent, and it's
the
louder.
ending feels like a Disney movie.
Bolt, speak.
I will super bark you out of that tree.
Oh, the super bark. Scary, scary.
It's the super bark! Oh my god! It's coming from over there!
Yeah, that ending was honestly very well done.
So good.
That's the best part of the movie, and
that's the only reason it's a med tier. Because if the ending didn't happen, it would probably be in shit tier.
It'd probably be in bad, I think.
Hannah Montana did not make a good Penny. I don't care what you say.
Penny's my favorite character.
Penny probably is the best character. I have Rhino, but next probably Penny because she shows up the least. But
yeah, that's the main girl.
Why Miley Cyrus? Miley Cyrus does not fit a almost 12-year-old. It looks like.
No. My favorite song was "Home Belongs to You."
That song's so good.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Life is the Highway of Cars.
Yeah.
It really is just Cars, huh?
It's kind of just Cars.
It's kind of just Cars.
Hot Shot's got to learn how to calm down. My favorite scene was the climax.
The climax.
Obviously.